The following is a series of interviews with subjects in the Suffolk County Police Department. They provide insight and perspectives which will improve our members' cultural proficiency.
When they see that swastika, something comes up in that person which makes the symbol not just a drawing or a painting on a wall, a spray painting on a wall, but rather really is an attack upon the soul of that person. I believe for the most part, the Jewish community certainly feels comfortable in speaking and reaching out to the police department and feeling that the department is definitely responsive to our various religious as well as ethnic needs. There is a history to this individual. There is a family history. And I also believe that there is an ethnic as well as community memory that people have. Police officers understand their own biases and prejudices, because once you begin to understand them, then you can begin to see how some of one's biases and prejudices can get in the way of one's police work, and then to begin to understand them and overcome them, work through them.
Don't let stereotypes rule your actions.
When I talk about microaggressions, I'm talking about subtle comments or innuendos that people make, say, or do that oftentimes they're not aware of, that may at times be offensive or sensitive to people in different cultures. Well, one of the gestures would be, I grew up in Wyandanch, which is one of the communities that are low income and a minority community, and I believe I'm very articulate and I write well, and someone will make a comment like, "Oh, you write very well," or "speak very well," from someone from Wyandanch, and I take that as implying that people from that community, we do not speak well, we cannot articulate and express ourselves appropriately, and sometimes those comments can be offensive. Yes, we would be stopped. We would ask where we're going, what we're doing. We're bouncing a basketball. To us, it would appear to be obvious. But we would be stopped and asked, and sometimes, it'd be a pleasant, no problem, go ahead, and other times it wouldn't be. We'd be, you have ID? Well, we're teenage kids with shorts on, we don't have ID. Why don't you have ID? You'd be almost interrogated to why, to where then it would put a bad taste, then everybody's, why they're stopping us. What did we do? We didn't do nothing. We're just walking. And so, we have to be sensitive to our communities and, understand. We don't have parents that have vehicles that are going to drop us off. We don't have bicycles. We're not riding around. So we're going to walk to the park because that's the only place we can go.
Respect people's feelings.
But as far as perception of the police, history also, there's a history there that in minority communities especially, that the police are not the friends of the community. But what we have to remember that crime is, done by maybe 2 to 5% of individuals. The other 95% of the people are very hardworking, loyal citizens. I think that there's a lot of opportunities for us to go out and to integrate with the community and to show good, positive relations with the communities. It's not an us and them mentality. People are taking those issues and they don't want to become a part of what they're calling an institution that has consistently and constantly treated them with negativity, treated them with lack of respect. So their mindset is that I don't want to become a part of that. I'm against that. And so I don't want to join that force. They're the biggest gang going. I don't want to do that because you're calling us gangs out on the street. They're the biggest gang in blue going. To me, it boils down to this. Treat people as you want to be treated, as you want your family to be treated, no matter what their colors and all. We're 99% the same and 1% different. We shouldn't allow that 1% to dictate who and what we are. And it's very important to understand that that community liaison officer cannot do this by themselves. They need the support of our precinct commanders, our additional COPE officers, and every officer that responds to any call or any incident within the department. The community liaison officer cannot do this on their own.
A couple things, a couple words of advice would be to treat the victim like you would treat any other victim, with compassion. Maybe you might want, if you see that the victim might be afraid of telling the officer exactly what happened for fear of not being taken seriously or being made fun of, the officer might want to just, pull that person aside, maybe away from everybody else or anybody else in the area, and say, look, I completely understand this may have been a biased incident. I would like to make sure we get the full information of what happened in this incident, and I'm totally comfortable with whatever you're going to tell me. So please tell me exactly what happened, tell me everything that happened, don't hold back. I'm not here to judge, I'm just here to take the facts and to investigate this crime. Sometimes we say words in passing within police officers, within the department, that they may not think offend people, but they do. And some of those words, which we talk about in the training, whether it be faggot or queer or fruit. I know those, talking to some of my friends in the gay and lesbian community before I came to do this interview, those were a couple of the words they wanted me to mention, to say that they do offend people. It's, look at that fag over there. And they might use it in not meaning to be mean or in a derogatory sense, but it could definitely offend somebody.
Be aware of cultural differences.
To motivate young African American males, particularly, to apply or even just take the test for the police department, we've got to change the image of the police department. So the African American male experiences with the police department have not been one that has been positive. It has been more on a suppressive end, with arresting them. Some of them feel that there's a trust issue between the police and the community. African American males are stereotyped. And out in Suffolk County, we're now doing something called community-based intervention, where that is bringing the community together along with the police, along with Suffolk County agencies, and helping the community to organize themselves, to empower themselves, to educate themselves, and then providing resources to help them to come up with solutions to their problems. And so one of the problems in some neighborhoods is crime. And so if the community leaders are meeting on a monthly basis to discuss crime in their community, and the police are a part of that discussion, so not outside of that discussion, but a part of that discussion, so that the police are seen as part of the community and not us versus them. And working together, you can determine people will be more cooperative with the police when they see that the police are working with us and not against us. What we need to work on is the diversity issue. What we need to work on is the image that the police are not just there to put us in jail, but there to help us.
One negative action can cancel 10 positive actions.
Over the summer of 2013, I was coaching my son in 7-year-old football. We had a scrimmage against a team from Riverhead. On the Riverhead team, there were a bunch of white kids and a bunch of black kids. After the scrimmage, I had made a comment to one of the gentlemen that I was coaching with. I said, my goodness, there was a lot of very large kids on the Riverhead team. There are a lot of big kids, they're big for young, only 7 years old. And the coach that I was coaching with said to me, well, that's because they eat a lot of fried chicken. When he said that to me, I thought to myself, I can't believe that we're making fried chicken jokes about 7-year-old kids. Whether or not they're white or black, really makes no difference. They're 7-year-old kids, and no adult deserves that, and certainly a 7-year-old child doesn't deserve to have himself, spoken about in a way like that.
Listen, be understanding, and help.
After that happened, I decided that I'm not going to be like that. The police department is kind enough to lend me a voice. I'm able to use my voice to speak with people. I decided that I could use my voice as a member of the gang unit in the 6th Precinct to reach out to the community. I reached out to a couple of the community leaders in the Coram, Gordon Heights, Medford area, just to get together and teach the people of the community, try to get some of the kids together, young people of the community together, just to let them know that the police department is not an enemy. Police department, police officers, myself, officers that I work with, the other members of the gang unit, the other members of the 6th Precinct are people that they can reach out to rather than run from and fear.
When Spanish people get pulled over, not only do they not know why they got pulled over, they're worried that the police is going to come and speak to them. But on top of it, if they don't know how to speak to you, they're trying to translate every word for word, everything you say to them. They're trying to understand what you say, try to get a thought together to respond to you. It's going to take time. My experience on patrol has been that a lot of officers believe that Hispanic people lie to them when they're asked questions during a traffic stop. But it's not that they're lying. It's that it takes them some time to process what you say and how to respond. The Hispanic population, not only back in their countries, their number one priority is to get a job. It's not education. It's to provide for their family, not to learn how to read and write or spell. A lot of Hispanic people in this country don't even know how to spell their name correctly. So it's not that they're giving you the incorrect name or they're trying to lie to you so that you don't know who they are. Sometimes they just don't know how to spell it. They don't know their birthdays, which doesn't seem like people don't understand how somebody can't know their date of birth. But the truth is that they just don't know it. That wasn't important to them. That wasn't important in their countries to be told. That when they were born, their date of birth, how to spell it, how to spell their name. So it's not a lie, it's not a deception, it's just not common knowledge in their countries. In many Spanish countries, the police is corrupt. People have a reason to be afraid of the police. So it's not going to be any different when they come here because they don't know that there is a difference. They don't know that we're here to respect them, take care of them, help them. They think that they're back in their country where the police is going to take money from them. Number one thing is patience. Just give them the respect that maybe they're not used to back in their country with the police. Just give them the respect to listen to them, give them time to respond back to them. They have to understand, the police has to understand that the cultures are very different. We're not used to interacting with the police the way the community interacts here. I think the Hispanic community wants the police to understand that they're here to abide by the laws. They want to abide by the laws. They want to pay taxes. They don't want to be stereotyped as all Hispanics are alcoholics, all Hispanics are landscapers. A lot of Hispanics come here, they have a career. They come here and they can't pursue that same career. So they take the job that is out there for them. When we took this job, the first day of the academy, majority of us were asked why you took this job. And most people said it was to help people. And we don't get to pick and choose who we help. If you pull somebody over and they're Hispanic, they might not be your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, but they might be mine. So hopefully you treat them with the respect that you would want your parents and your family and loved ones to be treated. Think before you speak.
Like the South American country, they don't look at you straight. They don't give you eye contact because they think in their country that that's disrespectful. So that's why a lot of times, like I remember when I first started working here, I'm Puerto Rican, so it's different. The dialects are different, the different culture, different mannerisms and stuff. It's just very different. So I started learning a lot about the community here, the Spanish community here. And they basically would tell me that we're not allowed to give you eye contact because it's like considered disrespectful where we're from. They think that even if they're going to report a crime, that they're going to be, if they're victims of a crime, that they're going to be deported. And I always explain to them, no, we don't ask you questions whether you're a citizen or not, only if you're arrested. And that question goes to everyone.
One negative action can cancel 10 positive ones.
Yes, the women think that it's disrespectful to speak before the husband speaks, and they, in their culture, they believe that they're supposed to speak to the husband. There's always going to be someone to be able to interpret what you're trying to get across to the police officer. What I've experienced is the community would like officers to be more interactive with them. You know, come out to their functions. If they're having a barbecue, walk out of your car, come out, speak to people. I know sometimes it's a busy command, so it's hard to go from one call to another, to another, to another. But just to train the officers, take a few more minutes of your time just to kind of like listen to what they have to say.
Muslim is one of the most growing community in Suffolk County right now. We have at least 10 mosques, and we have physicians and healthcare profession in every hospital, and almost every 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts is owned by us. So the community is growing, obviously, and the concept of Muslim community, if you don't have an interaction with any Muslim of your neighbor, your colleague, or your friend, and your source of information is TV and media, then obviously you think that every Muslim who's living in Suffolk County is a terrorist. So the best thing is to deal with them on your day-to-day basis. Either you come across with them as a colleague, as a friend, as a neighbor, then your perception will change. It's a big cultural difference, especially when you deal with the families, and especially when you deal with the opposite sex. In other words, a man is not supposed to shake hands with women, women are not supposed to shake hands with men. And it's like a very segregated community. Even if you go to the mosque, you will see that women has a separate section for prayer and the men has a separate section for the prayer. And during the programs also, most of the time women and men are separated.
Bias-free policing means we will focus on behavior rather than any preconceived notions. We want to be able to explain what we're doing and why. We need to keep in mind that 94 to 97% of the public are law-abiding. We do not want to get them caught up in our efforts combating the 3 to 6% that are breaking the law. We want to become one with the community by treating people with respect, fairness, and dignity. We will increase cooperation and gain more information. We will form a partnership with the community to complete the police mission.
Additionally, the Hate Crimes Unit is responsible for maintaining a hate crimes database. The data entered into the database is used to track, analyze, and map hate crimes and hate incidents. The proper classification of hate crimes and hate incidents is critical for accurate tracking, analyzing, and mapping. Any officer that is handling an incident that appears to be based on a hate motive is responsible to contact the Hate Crimes Unit to ensure proper classification of the incident.
Hi, Dad.
Proper classification of an incident will ensure that offenders are properly charged.